Hello everybody, coming up tonight on a Friday edition of News Center Now, we are in storm center mode and everybody knows that the grocery stores are packed, the lines are long, and not every Mainer is surprised about that.
No, and that's just one storm. We have another storm on the way for Christmas Day, and that one could actually be bigger.
Oh boy. And a lot of people traveling for the holiday weekend and some people coming home to some great holiday homecomings. This is News Center Now. We're going outside. The afternoon commute is definitely going to be messy. The snow is falling fast, and tomorrow the freezing rain moves in. Some people are trying to get their errands done before the roads get too bad.
You always have the opportunity to meet old and new friends, which is fun to do in mine.
Grocery stores and shopping malls are packed today as everyone scrambles to get their holiday shopping done ahead of the storm. Hey everybody, I'm Chris Costa in for Lee Goldberg, and this is Storm Center Now. We have your closings, your road conditions, your travel alerts, and of course, your forecast. Keith Carson joins us now on the weather deck tonight. Keith, it's really right now about that rain-snow line.
Yeah, you know, tomorrow morning, that's going to be the biggest problem. Right now, maybe I'm in the minority here. I'm digging this. This is like, so, I don't know, it's so Christmassy. But anyways, let's have a look at the radar because there are spots that it's coming down a little bit more heavy. Pretty uniform across the mid-coast and getting into down east. Southern Maine seeing some heavy snow as well. But look up towards Augusta. They've seen some bands of heavy snow coming down at a really aggressive rate. And another one coming into the Bridgeton area you can see on the radar there as well. Now don't let this confuse you. It hasn't suddenly changed over to rain. What I've done is dropped off the algorithm that decides whether or not it's rain or snow because we know it's snow. And this is a better way to get an idea of the intensity within these snow bands. Again, look at Bridgeton. That's a nice looking band. Lewiston about to get smacked with a good one in about 20 minutes or so. And then Augusta, another good band coming through in about 30 to 35 minutes. So these are the heavier bands within an otherwise light to moderate kind of deal that we're seeing. So it snows through tonight. The snowfall ratios have been tremendous, meaning we've been getting a lot of snow for a relatively small amount of liquid, which has kind of made it fluffy. Somebody sent me a video of moving the snow with a leaf blower. That's how you know it's the light stuff. Tomorrow morning is where it gets interesting though, because now we start changing over to freezing rain. The beginning of the morning, there's not much precipitation going on at all, but once it starts up again, it falls into an air mass in which it's very cold at the surface, but it is very warm aloft. So freezing rain through the middle of the day and then the afternoon over northern Maine before we clear out, and rain really through Saturday night before clearing out on Sunday. Additional snowfall accumulation somewhere in the order of 2 to 3 inches for most of us. The mountains are going to make up pretty well though with this storm system, some spots over 6 inches, and even if they don't get it, as we know, Chris, they'll tell us that they did. And we have another storm system to talk about for Christmas Day. Yeah. That's probably a bigger storm than tonight's storm.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
And guys, as you remember, we're live on Facebook every day, but during Storm Center, it's really a chance to let us know what you want to know. So send in your forecast questions on our Facebook live stream. We'll be keeping an eye on them, and then hopefully we can get to some of them later on in the show. Now, if you haven't gotten your bread, milk, and Allen's coffee brandy for this storm yet, you might be the only one. It seemed like every person in Maine was at the grocery store today. Christina Rex was one of them. Hey, Christina.
Hey Chris, this Hannaford on Forest Ave in Portland is still packed inside, but this isn't the only one that was busy all day. I tweeted out a video of the lines here and the responses I got were crazy. Same way in Gorham, same way in Biddeford, same way in Waterville, same way in Bangor. It seemed like the whole state was at the grocery store today, but luckily people had some pretty good attitudes about those long lines.
It's nice out. You know, I'm a native Mainer, and I love this stuff. It makes me feel alive.
Mixed reactions to major holiday traffic. Not on the roads, but in the aisles.
It snows every year. This happens all the time. It'll probably another dozen times before the winter's out. And for some reason, everybody has to run to the store like we're gonna die tomorrow, or we're not gonna be, we're gonna get so buried we can't get outside.
With Christmas 3 days away, holiday shoppers didn't let the snow stop them from getting those last-minute presents and a Christmas feast. Hannaford employees were working non-stop with every counter open for checkout.
I had like a super fast bagger. Looked like the fastest bagger in the world.
But it was impossible to avoid the congestion every step of the way. From the apocalyptic cart section.
I had to go to the parking lot to find a shopping cart because there's no shopping carts left inside.
I took a baby cart because there were no other carts left, and I felt really guilty about it, but I could not possibly carry all this stuff in a basket.
To the busy aisles.
It's a little congested in the aisles because the staff are unloading more and more food, so it's a little hard to navigate, but people are very cheerful.
To the long checkout lines. Some hungry customers quit while they were ahead.
Perhaps probably not, perhaps I'll consider another location.
Pretty hilarious action in here today. As I was walking through that long line, one woman walked by me carrying a 12-pack of beer and she said, "Ugh, I'm gonna have to crack one of these open just to survive this line," and the whole line burst out laughing. It was such a funny day, Chris.
Gotcha. Well, Christina, so quick question for you. Are more people getting groceries to wait out the storm, or are they preparing their holiday meals?
So for most people I talked to, they said that they came here with the intention of getting stuff for the holidays, and then obviously it was snowing outside and there were so many people in the grocery store that they realized they should probably get stuff just to stock up throughout the storm too.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, so from what you've seen of the people kind of leaving the parking lot, are customers having a hard time driving in that snow?
It looked like in the parking lot area, it was okay, to be honest. Everyone's driving pretty well, parking pretty well. But once I got on 295, that's where people were struggling. A little bit of swerving, very slow, lots of traffic today for sure.
All right, Christina, thank you so much.
A friend of mine, Bob Kraft, called me last night. He said this tax bill is incredible. He owns the New England Patriots, but he's in the paper business too. And he said based on this tax bill, he just wanted to let me know that he's going to buy a big plant in the great state of North Carolina.
President Donald Trump says he heard from a number of business owners praising him and Republicans for their work on the tax bill. President Trump signed it into law before taking off for Florida, where he will spend the holidays with his family. Critics maintain that this bill is a handout for the wealthy, but the president said today a number of corporations have already promised bonuses to their employees because of these tax cuts. A former teacher in Waldoboro is charged with having sexual relations with one of her students. 43-year-old Nancy Leanne Brand turned herself into the Two Bridges Regional Jail on Thursday. Police say she admitted to having sex with a student under the age of 14 while she was a teacher at the Coastal Christian School in the fall of 2016. Police say there is no evidence that the school administration had any knowledge of these alleged offenses until investigators told them. Brand was dismissed by the school for unrelated issues. Skiers and snowboarders are pumped for all the snow we're getting this weekend. When Storm Center returns, we'll have a look at the conditions in the mountains and a class action lawsuit against Apple because the tech giant admitted they are slowing down your phone on purpose. Those stories and more when we come back. Snow moved into southern Maine this morning and quickly made its way up the state. Today we're in storm center mode and we'll have the information you need to stay safe and warm during the storm. And even when we aren't on the air, we're always on your phone. Download our mobile app right now. It's available for free from all app stores. And of course, you can follow us on all our social media and check out our website. Now, if you've noticed your apps in your phone are operating a little or a lot slower, there's a reason for that. Katie Ortiz tells us why some iPhone customers are taking Apple to court.
Oh yeah, Coco. Yesterday on Social Stop, I delivered somewhat of a sassy rant on Apple finally coming clean about purposely slowing down older phones with or without your knowledge. They said on Wednesday, it's in order to preserve the battery life and avoid unexpected shutdowns. Now today, they face not only backlash, but lawsuits. USA Today reports that through a Los Angeles lawyer, 2 consumers filed a class action breach of contract lawsuit. They allege they never consented to allow Apple to slow down their older phones. And according to CNBC, they're trying to get the case certified to cover all people in the U.S. who owned an Apple phone older than the iPhone 8. Another 5 people filed a federal lawsuit in Chicago for what they're calling deceptive, immoral, and unethical practices that violate consumer protection laws. those consumers are from Indiana, North Carolina, Ohio, and Illinois. Now, the suit claims that Apple needlessly subjects consumers to purchasing newer and more expensive iPhones when a replacement battery could have allowed consumers to continue to use their older iPhones. Apple hasn't responded to USA Today's request for comment on the lawsuit. And Chris, just as an aside here, for the love of all things holy, we are not calling this fiasco Battery Gate. I won't allow it. I shan't.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that. I know the Patriots fans do too.
Oh,
all
yeah.
right. Thanks, Katie. Coming home to Maine for the holidays all over the state. Families are reuniting after long days of travel. Some of those touching moments when we come back. And it's snowing through the night, but tomorrow morning it gets icy. Keith breaks it down in the full forecast. The Maine Department of Transportation recommends that drivers go no faster than 45 miles per hour on some parts of the turnpike. This is a live look from the rest stop in Kennebunk. The snow is going to keep falling through the night. Now, a lot of you are reaching out to us asking about your travel plans. Some of you have family coming into town and are worried about loved ones getting stuck in the nasty weather, or you're trying to get out of town and are wondering when that perfect window of time is to hit the road. Keith will get to those questions in a moment, so keep sending them in on our Facebook live stream. Many Mainers who have moved away are returning home for the holiday. At the airport and bus terminals, there were plenty of hugs where many families reunited. Take a look.
Picking up my brother. He's flying in from California with his wife. We really like that about Christmas, getting the family together, seeing everyone we love, making new memories.
I don't get to come home very often, but when I do, you know, it's great. I always feel so like light and kind of happy when I get here. It's a good feeling.
My son Brian, who's coming in from Portland, Oregon. We haven't seen him in a while. Since last year, and we're getting the whole family together, and it'll be a special Christmas, and it's going to be a white Christmas.
The air feels clean. In Manhattan, everything's kind of, I mean, that's a stereotype, right? Everything's dirty, everything's gross, and here just everything's so like, the snow is white. That's amazing to me, you know?
So he left for the Army 2 days before I got back from boot camp from the Marines, and I surprised him for Christmas. Oh, feels good.
I have come to the train station to pick up my granddaughter who's coming in from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's the best Christmas present ever. That's what it's all about. When you get older, you don't care about presents for yourself. You just like to get the family together and laugh and have fun and share stories and make wonderful memories.
And some visitors to Maine may want to hit the slopes this weekend. Emily Milliron is in Penobscot County talking to Herman Mountain visitors about that fresh powder. Hey, Emily.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Herman Mountain actually just opened for the season yesterday. Season pass holders are eager to get out there and hit the slopes, and this storm presents just that opportunity. They were actually waiting in line outside when the mountain opened just at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The mountain turned off their snowmaking machines actually right when it opened at 3. Small businesses like this really rely on fresh snow to help open all of the trails. I spoke with some skiers and snowboarders who have been keeping an eye on the storm and think it's great for the mountain. But they also told me with the holiday weekend coming up, it will impact their travel plans.
We planned this trip a few days ago. We have been watching it pretty closely, but we're going to take our chances. We're going to get out here for a few hours and then hopefully beat the storm back to Skowhegan.
I love this. I've been skiing in Virginia and West Virginia, over in Snowshoe.
With Christmas coming, we're planning on going down to Brunswick, and we're watching it pretty close to see how traveling and stuff is.
Now, Herman Mountain is open until 9 o'clock tonight, and skiers and snowboarders will for sure be shredding some powder as the storm really gets underway. But for now, in Herman, I'm Emily Milliron. Chris, I will send it back to you.
All right, Emily, thanks so much. I know a lot of people are asking us on our Facebook live stream right now, what is the weather going to be like in the mountains
Yes.
This guy has the answers.
You know, even they will probably see a little ice, but I don't think it'll be that much. So a lot of this is going to be snow for them. They're going to get 6+ inches of snow. And then they'll get a little ice, but then another storm on Christmas Day. So I think it's going to be a good time because next week looks really cold. Oof. So if you want to ski, it might be better to do it in the snow. I know it's better to do it in the snow than to do it in the super cold that is coming our way. So here's the snow right now overspreading 2/3 of the state. It was slow to get into down East Maine as we anticipated. It didn't get there until relatively recently. A couple of nice bands of snow though in here, the darker blue indicating the heavier snowfall, and a few of them have kind of trained themselves in this jackpot area where we had 6 inches of snow forecast, and I think we'll definitely get that. Some areas already reporting 3 to 3.5 inches. Drop off this radar algorithm because it confuses everyone. This is not rain, this is snow, but look where those deep bands are at, and they're sailing to the north of Portland, and they're coming in just where the 295 split hits 95 to the south of Augusta. So this is going to be your jackpot right in here through the rest of tonight with those heavier bands of really efficient accumulating snowfall, because it is cold and we're getting a high fluff factor out of it for sure. So temperatures in the teens right now, they'll get into the 20s, but rain snow line will be no problem tonight. This is, as Randy Moss might say, straight snow, homie, all the way through the night. But by tomorrow morning, we're going to start changing over, and this is where it gets interesting. Cold air stays locked at the surface, gets really warm aloft. And we saw this coming days in advance. This is a freezing rain signature all the way. So freezing rain through the middle part of the day. Here we are at 1 o'clock. Now it's getting scoured out along the coastline, but it's still freezing rain in some of the valleys and foothills. That continues 4 o'clock. Vast majority of us has changed over to rain, but it's still freezing rain up towards Millinocket, Greenville, and it's snow in Caribou. And then the back end of this crashes through Saturday night, and we get a break on Sunday. Enjoy it. Do some shopping. As you can see, look what creeped in behind me for Christmas Day itself. We'll get to that in a second. Additional snowfall here, 2-3 inches of snow in most spots. As you can see, this small scale model is picked up on that band. So it thinks Freiburg has another 4 inches of snow to go, 2 in Bangor, 3 in Millinocket, in addition, of course, to what you already have on the ground. This is the icing forecast. That hasn't changed. The strike zone is still just to the west of the coastline, but be aware the immediate coast will see freezing rain tomorrow morning, even late morning. I just didn't highlight them because I think the heaviest freezing rain will be to the west of that zone. So this is the area that we're most concerned with, up to 1/3 of an inch of ice, which is just below that serious threshold of a 1/2 inch. Sunday's a break. Here comes the storm on Monday. Computer models waffle back and forth in this. Yesterday I thought maybe just a couple of inches of snow. Computer models have come back strong with this storm though. It starts Monday early in the morning on Christmas Day, heaviest around the middle of the day through early afternoon, then tries to move out by Christmas Day evening. That's kind of confusing, but Monday night, how about that? It moves out on Monday night. Here's our first shot at that snowfall map. Now, of course, Chris, a couple of things. One, we're 3 days out.
Yeah,
Two, I'm dealing with another storm. So,
right.
you know, just take this this is our first shot at it. I think it will be an accumulating and plowable snow. We'll move those bullseyes, we'll move the numbers, I'm sure.
Yep.
We're trying to do, we did a group text message between all the weather nerds and just, you know, got a consensus there. And after all of this, as I just alluded to at the beginning, an Arctic blast coming in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Along the inland locations, it could be 10 to 15 degrees below zero on Thursday morning and Friday morning. So winter really, really strong here.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about Monday again when we get just a little bit closer and get past this storm.
And I know a lot of people worried about their traveling conditions. Obviously, we know the roads are not ideal, and if you see those, 70-mile-an-hour speed limits, yes, we had talked about it earlier.
Smart.
Yeah, just be smart. We know that those, the highways, we had said probably be okay, but those back roads.
Highways will definitely be better tomorrow because it's hard to create freezing rain on that friction surface.
Perfect.
That's
All
good.
right. Thanks, Keith.
Yep.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the
First responders are getting in the holiday spirit. This is the Biddeford Fire Department singing some Christmas carols. They also sang "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," which you can see on our websites and mobile apps. But of course, they aren't the first people in uniform to belt out a Christmas tune.
Oh, night divine.
Singing Portland police officer Jeremy Turner is still winning the internet. So many of you have reacted to his rendition of Silent Night on Facebook and Twitter. Jennifer says, "Oh Holy Night" is her favorite Christmas song. She said this version gave her goosebumps. Sharon says this performance was a community service in itself because it made people smile. B says Officer Turner should try out for The Voice because he's such a great singer. And then Betty told us that she lives in California and saw this clip on her local news on the other side of the country. So that video is really getting around, and Officer Turner might be stopping by News Center Studios tonight because we're having a little Christmas caroling party right here on Facebook Live. Christina Rex and I will perform a duet tonight. We have a few cameos from other people in the News Center family.
See, I have seen Christina sing karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
I have not seen you sing karaoke.
You don't want to see me sing karaoke? I'm not singing, let's put it that way. I'm not singing. I'm playing a little guitar as best as I can, but yeah.
No ukulele or anything?
No. I have a very limited set of skills. One of them is reading and another is putting a couple of chords together.
All right, well, it's working for you.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Okay, tell us what's going on at 5:30.
We got a lot of news coming up at 5:30. Businesses everywhere and along the mid-coast are really concerned that this snow is going to keep customers at home. So this is usually a really big shopping day during the holidays. What are they thinking right now? Don Kerrigan's going to have that story. And a little boy doesn't want any toys for Christmas. He wants his father to be healthy. So this Santa thought prayers would help him get his wish. And this video of them praying together is going viral. We're going to have that and your latest weather forecast all coming up in just a few minutes on News Center at 5:30.
All right, thank you so much, Cindy. Now we'll be back in just a few minutes. Let's get one last look at those travel conditions. I know a lot of people planning to travel this weekend.
Yes, they are. Let's take a wide view, and I'll show you kind of if you're going south, which a lot of people are, right?
Yeah.
Most of us are traveling south. There aren't too many options to the north, I suppose. It is snow tonight everywhere, so even if you go down into Boston, you're going to run into that. By late tonight, early tomorrow morning, we've got freezing rain, but it will be largely rain as you get down into Massachusetts, certainly Connecticut, Rhode Island, and all the way down into New York City. So if you're traveling here tomorrow morning southward, it's the first part of the journey that will be the problem. By the time you get to, say, Haverhill, Massachusetts, or down that way out towards Lawrence, you should change over to rain the rest of the way, unless, of course, you go back west, but that's a whole different story. Break Sunday, Coco, and then we're looking at another storm Christmas Day. Timing of that, early in the morning it starts, heaviest in the middle part of the day, and we are looking at a plowable snow. Again, this is our first shot at it, but it's a 4 to 8 job as it stands right now.
All right, Keith, thanks so much. Obviously, make sure you're following us online, on air, on our mobile app, social media. We're going to keep covering these weather events, the travel conditions, as they go forward. Much more of that storm coverage coming up on News Center at 5:30. Starts right now.